What website did you just go to?
Fuck snooze.
Fuck
Fuck
snooze?
snooze.
I love fuck snooze.
Fuck snooze. Do you guys snooze?
What is
Like
that?
snooze my alarms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm an adult.
No, I'm not an adult.
What? What is that line?
I don't snooze.
What?
I don't.
Yeah,
What-
why would you?
if you have
snooze?
to be-
set
hold
a
on,
fucking time that you know you're gonna wake up, be an adult about it, and wake up.
So you're telling me you don't snooze, but does that mean you have like 7 different alarms?
If I have to get up super early in the morning, let's say I got to get up at 7:00 in the morning. I'll set a 7 o'clock alarm, 7 a.m. alarm, 7:01, 7:02, 7:03.
That is snoozing.
That's the same thing as
That's
snoozing.
Hold on a second.
That's-
Hold on.
snoozing
That's,
with
that's
more
why I
stuff.
Calm the
say
fuck
that I
down.
snooze.
I always get up after the first alarm,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I just turn the other ones off. They're just backup in case I don't.
I mean, I understand the backup alarm. I need that.
but I never purposely snooze because it ruins my day.
I have like a really hard
It doesn't
time.
work. You don't get any more sleep.
No, it's not the any more sleep thing. I just have a really hard time waking up, and I always have. And it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter if
Do you
I
have
get
a hard time falling asleep?
sometimes that kind of goes back and forth. There are times where I can just like today I actually took a nap without even meaning to. I just like was sitting down and then I was asleep.
I can't nap at all.
I love napping.
But like whenever I wake up, even if it's like I've had plenty of sleep, lately I've been actually doing a lot better just waking up. But like I still have to set multiple alarms because mostly it's actually like I'm terrified I won't wake up like for something. Like if
Ever.
yeah, exactly ever, yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, that's the ideal way to go.
If
Just
I-
go into bed and don't wake up.
If I set an alarm for a time, like let's say I have to be at work or get up early for something, and I set one alarm, I will go to bed horribly anxious that I will not hear that alarm.
Yeah.
Don't punch the mic, man. That I will sleep past that alarm, and then I will sleep past the thing I have to go do.
Yeah.
That's why I set 1,000 alarms, and that's why I call that snoozing also. So, but I don't ever intentionally press the snooze button because I
Yeah,
have
it's
the
usually
backups.
an accident
Yeah, exactly.
My
yeah.
partner,
like a
because
In
they
sleepy
switch
haze.
whatever button it is too.
my partner sleeps through alarms, and it's like fascinating for me because like I wake up way before her, so like it's never oh man, that woke me up. Like I'm an early bird. I don't have issues falling asleep or waking up. Like,
And is this
must be
your
nice.
mark of an adult?
yeah,
He's one of those pretentious like asshole people in the morning who's like, if you don't wake up in the morning, you're not a real adult.
no, I don't
You one
feel
of those
that
people?
way. I just have no issues waking up, and I'm an early bird. It's just like
Have you always been that way?
probably yeah.
Damn.
I was gonna say, I
In
think
my
as
memory,
long as
yes.
we've all known him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the type of, if I fall asleep at 5 a.m., I'm up by 10 a.m. at the latest, but I will be up probably at 8.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my go-to.
Wow.
But she sleeps through alarms, and there will be some times where I'll get out of the shower and there will be like NPR is her alarm, and
That
just like
makes
blaring.
sense why you can sleep through that.
Just
Yeah.
blaring that, and like she's got one of those sunrise clocks, so it's like a floodlight in the room by the time I'm out of the shower, and I'm just kind of standing there like watching, like, this is insane that you are asleep right now. It's just crazy. Yeah. So we're here.
Yeah.
Wake up, people. Wake up, sheeple.
Good morning.
Don't hit the snooze button.
Welcome to Dick and the Butts
The dick in the butts.
in the morning.
Morning. Welcome to Don't Feed the Artists in the morning. I'm Hagen.
I'm Dave.
I'm Adam.
I'm sunny side up.
Woo! The boys are back in town.
Yeah. Hagen's got no shoes on. I accidentally touched Adam's foot with my foot.
And I have shoes on.
I had sheer terror when it happened. I was like,
Let's
oh my
go,
God.
girls.
Yeah.
Why did you freak out? Are you
I don't know.
uncomfortable with touching another man?
I would say more of the toes part would be the uncomfortable part.
No, I was raised Catholic, so like I very like
So every
anybody
touch
who
with a human
touches
is
me.
bad.
yeah. It was the guilt of like, oh my God, I touched him. My bad. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Adam's definitely wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's winter.
Yeah.
It's Texas winter.
It's nice out.
It's not really hot and terrible out, so I'm wearing
Yeah.
jeans.
It's
like an
Canadian
adult.
summer.
Getting a little worried about my show I have booked in a couple weeks. I guess like a month from now. I have like a whole quote unquote costume outfit that I'm gonna wear, and it like hinges on being short sleeve. But I'm very skinny, so if it's super cold, like that's gonna make me play poorly. So I'm a little like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to pivot.
No, we'll set up a heat lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
just bring a heater on stage.
Yeah.
That'll be great for my acoustic guitar. The venue I'm playing is like they have great heating for the audience, but there's no heating on the stage for the musicians, which I guess makes sense. Like, actually, I don't know if that makes sense or not. But I remember one time, I think it was you and me, Hagen, went to see, it was Helen Kelter Skelter opening up for Mother Tongues, or vice versa.
So many good band names.
Yeah.
And at this venue, and it was like 20 degrees out, or like 30 degrees. And so we were all sufficiently frigid. And we walked in, and like we felt the heaters, and like we took off our coats because we were like, oh, we're good. We don't need these. And meanwhile, we're watching Helen Kelter Skelter play, and like they were playing like riffs. They were just like shredding. And I was just like, I was watching their guitarist between songs like blow into his hands. And I was like, that fucking sucks. And then that was when I noticed there's no heating accommodation up there. But that sucks.
I think that would be terrifying if there was heating on stage. One, I like that sounds like easy, like I'm gonna sweat through whatever I'm wearing. How do you like dress for the cold? You wear like jackets, you take them off when you're under the heaters, but like do you take your jacket off while you're playing then, and then you sweat a bunch, and then as soon as you're off the stage you're like instantly back in the cold, and then you have a cold?
Yeah, your body can't regulate very well.
Yeah. So it's like that's a toughie. And also I imagine there's like some power issues with having a heater on stage too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen heaters on stage. I played in Colorado a couple of years ago, and there were heaters on stage.
I feel like the other...
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, tell us about a gig.
Oh, go ahead.
Did you
about a
touch
gig
his
I
foot
played.
too?
No, he's touching my foot. That's why I let him talk.
You can't lie.
No, I was just gonna say
we have
those-
video now.
They can't see our feet, though. Oh, you can see my feet.
There's a camera for
I
that.
have a
Fine.
foot cam. But that's
for the
private.
Patreon.
Yeah, that's not going to make YouTube.
That's the Patreon.
The coldest show I ever played was in Dallas, and it was raining out. My hands were so cold that I couldn't physically feel what I was doing. I had to watch my fingers fret the notes.
Yeah. I have to do that just in general. I'm really glad I'm not like a solo player for that exact reason. Like I'm glad that like my bread and butter is just bar chords, because anytime I've experienced that in like 60-degree weather, that's a joke for our listeners. No one laughed in here, but
Don't do it.
we're gonna wait 10 minutes.
Adam's literally checking his phone.
Yeah, so anytime that happens, I don't feel too worried about it, because I just like, I just have to be able to, like overcome not letting go of the fretboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw like one of those like anonymous Tumblr like questions.
Is
like
Tumblr
AMA.
still a thing?
It was like a screenshot. I think it
Oh,
is.
it's definitely still a thing, right?
There's just no naked on it.
Yeah. Tumblr's
No
still a
naked.
thing.
No naked on it. But I saw a thing that was like the anonymous question was like, "Are you vocal during sex?" And the answer was, "No, I'm usually lead guitar." Are you checking Tumblr?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I thought you were going to say, "Are you vocal during sex?" to Jackson.
No, I know he's rhythm guitar.
Wow. Look at that picture,
We're
Adam.
just going to lose him for the whole episode because he's going to be on Tumblr now.
He's just on Tumblr.
I've never used Tumblr in my life.
I used it for a little bit.
I didn't understand what I was just looking at.
What? Like what Tumblr is? Like how it works?
Yeah, like the format of it.
Oh, okay. It's pretty easy to get.
I Googled, I Tumblred Sufjan Stevens.
Oh, that's a dangerous one.
Not anymore. There's no sexy.
Oh, no sexy. No sexy.
Just God now.
I feel like there's like a chance that the title from last week's episode was maybe too clickbaity.
No, I like the fact that we have a YouTube now.
We have to have clickbait titles. We need to have clickbait thumbnails or whatever, too, they have now.
We just touched hands now. Adam and I.
That can be the thumbnail.
I'm putting zero effort into making the thumbnail. I'm just like scrubbing through and taking a screenshot and then putting "Don't feed the artist" in the
Oh,
corner.
yeah, no, I know I sounded really like out of touch just saying what I said because I have no idea how YouTube works.
No, but like I genuinely think if we're on YouTube, like that Pitchfork one we did, literally just copy paste, cut copy paste, whatever you say.
Whatever you just said.
I don't think that works. Wick, that's such a golden opportunity to say the definitive 90s music playlist or some shit like that.
Totally.
Like we could do that for every episode. I mean, it's the way to do it.
Well,
you should know that. You're streaming now.
The only reason that I say that maybe it was too clickbaity was because I had people approach me and they were like, I've started the episode. I can't wait to hear why Adam's not there.
That's so good.
Like, what happened? Like, nothing happened. He just wasn't there.
So happy that nobody I know in real life listens to this. I assume you have that same experience, Adam?
I know people who listen to it.
Oh,
They're
that
just
sucks.
multiple weeks behind.
So do they come up with
they
you
know who
and
they are.
they say something and then you're like, what?
That was like a month and a half ago. I forgot. Yeah.
Oh, so they don't know we have a YouTube channel yet.
Oh, they don't know yet.
Wow, it's going to be big.
They're finding out like weeks after it happens. Probably.
We're gonna have at least 100 views by then.
God, when I tell them to vote at the end of this episode, they're going to be like, fuck. Shit, I forgot. Woo-wee. I was at a coffee shop on, what was this? Sunday.
Yesterday.
Well, yesterday at the time of recording, I was at a coffee shop, and it was my local coffee shop, and I was in there, and there was it was really nice weather, as we keep saying, and I wanted to sit out on the patio. It's a very small patio, and it's like boxed in, so it's not like you can sit kind of on the street and still be on the patio. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Some bars and places will have that. And I noticed like it was very like congested. It's a coffee shop. That's never the case unless you're at like Starbucks, which I was not at. And I noticed like there's these guys like just like long hair, look like, you know, us. And they are all like congregated. There's one guy in the corner, like shoved himself like in this like uncomfortable position with a camera, just like shooting them. And like, then I make jokes to my partner. I was like, you mark my fucking word. Those guys, they're going to be at ACL in 3 years. Making jokes like that. And then she says, do you think that you wear a tour laminate, your tour badge in public because you actually need it so you remember your schedule and stuff like that? I said, no, absolutely not. You're doing that to show off.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do they have tour laminates? And then I turned around. I was like, oh yeah, they do. And they're really nice. So I'm like looking, I was like, okay, I saw the name. I'm not going to mention the name, but I saw it and I was like, oh, let's look them up. Saw it like 500K on Instagram. I was like, so that's a big guy. And I was like, I noticed, I was like, well, and that's the guy himself. And like, oh, well, now I see it. It's on his tour laminate. That's his face. And I'm looking it up and I'm like, that's a fucking like country music guy. Like it was just a name and like acoustic guitars. I was in the shop so I couldn't listen to anything. And the night before he was at like the House of Blues in Houston or something. So I was like, he's probably at the same thing in Dallas, House of Blues. Look it up. No, he had sold out the UT Arlington, I think it was the basketball arena.
Yeah.
Which is a 7,000 cap place.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, what is this? And then I finally found out. Any guesses on the genre?
Let's go with indie synth.
Nope.
Hip hop.
Nope.
Not
Adam, you're right.
Country?
It was Christian music.
I was gonna say that, and I didn't feel comfortable
that makes
saying
sense.
that.
That
So-
makes sense.
Then I was like, oh, as soon as I noticed that, I was like, okay. So it was like he was like opening up for like a mega church type thing. When I saw the venue, I was like, that's a fucking arena, dude.
Yeah.
And no, this dude had sold like $50 tickets just to see him at UT Arlington. I was
Crazy.
I was shocked. I was
Nice.
super shocked. So I'm gonna be looking through that B-roll to see if you can see me like, you know, taking the piss out of them in the corner. That'd be really good. Yeah.
Imagine if they made you the subject of the video.
Oh man, I would have not been kind. But I would have been the whole time if they had talked to me at the video, like assuming they didn't like say anything about who they were. I would have been like, oh yeah, you know, like I would have been taking the piss out of country music because at that moment I thought it was country music,
Right.
and that probably would have made no sense to them.
There's a lot of crossover between country music and Christian,
I'm not
contemporary
shocked by that.
Christian music.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fan base is similar.
Yeah.
So I was shocked to see that, but good for him, I guess.
How did we get here?
No, I was just telling a story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, story time.
I forgot how we started because
One thing about me.
Yeah.
That's what he's gonna do. Is,
He doesn't get that.
Oh, I know.
I hate that. I hate that trend on TikTok.
Oh, I love it.
I hate it. It's so much. I would rather these people just tell the story without the beat.
No, I love.
I love how awkward it is.
It's so awkward.
The first person I saw doing it, I was like, oh, this is clever and creative. And then I kept scrolling. I was like, oh, fucking, this is a trend. God damn it.
Yeah.
I was super frustrated.
The first, like the my favorite one that I've seen recently was someone like telling their story over the beat while they actually have the real song playing in the background instead of just like the beat. So there was just like overlap of vocals while they're trying to tell their story.
That's super good. Can I start off the formal section of this podcast with a bit of a theory, a fan theory, game
A game theory?
a game theory. Well, before I get into that, what do you guys think we should call? What do you guys think we should call our fans? I was sitting here thinking about this all day today instead of working.
Like what we should call like our fan base?
Yeah, like our fan base.
I don't know. I've thought about this a lot for bands that I'm in, and I've never come up with something that like makes sense. And this seems even harder.
Yeah, like it's the Don't Feed the Artists is the podcast. So you don't want to call them the artists. That doesn't make sense. The feeders, I don't like that.
No, I don't like that at all.
The
I don't
food
like that.
bank,
I feel like this
don't
is
know.
something that should happen naturally, not be forced.
I think sometimes it is natural, and then sometimes they like the people actually name their fan base. But
yeah,
I don't know. That's a toughie.
yeah. Well, maybe in a month we'll get some good ideas from Adam's camp.
Month might be optimistic.
So I'll get into my theory. So we all know that I saw My Chemical Romance semi recently, and I'm still like just riding that wave of nostalgia and really just enjoying their records.
The towels.
The towels.
Oh, that's not bad.
What?
Fuck off.
Maybe it is bad.
But that's really assuming people listen to the
all
end.
the way to the end.
Which-
yeah, that's fair.
I
And that's
guarantee you,
that's for the real fans.
I guarantee
The
you
real
there.
fan.
The real fan.
I don't think we
It's
have.
fucking me.
I don't think we have diehards, but like, I think there are probably diehards who don't get that far in the episode. That as soon as they hear you doing the plugs, that they just go out.
Listen, I'm just
I do
saying,
that on so many podcasts.
Well, so like
Because
one,
you already subscribed to it. You don't
Yeah.
need to be told to subscribe. But then
Yeah.
you wouldn't find out we have a YouTube channel now.
well, that's true. They would never know.
yeah, and you wouldn't hear all the good jokes at that point that we saved just for that one point.
Just for the YouTube. Yeah, just for
Yeah.
the YouTube. What's your theory?
So, My Chemical Romance. And I've been watching the set list, just curious how much of a variation it has night to night, and noticing like, man, I think like they learned their whole discography, which granted it's 4 albums, but that's not an easy task when you're talking about, okay, we're going to like just start throwing these in and out. You may only play this once during this tour. And especially if it's a reunion tour. So like everybody's watching you, like everyone's very much paying attention.
It takes a lot of rehearsal.
Yeah. And so they are wrapping up at the time of this recording. It is wrapping up tonight. Their last show on the official part of the tour. They still have a few festivals dates, one of which I will be at. And then they have like their Australian tour. But
Which is not a real tour, apparently.
yeah,
No.
not.
It's
Mm-mm.
over on that island.
Yeah, you've been. Yeah, we're not going to. Oh, nice. Yeah. So this is like the official end of like the reunion tour that they announced back in 2019. No, it was 2020. I think it was.
Yeah.
But this is the last of those dates. So 5 shows at the Kia Forum in LA, all sold out. And Gerard Way, before it, said, or before any of these shows, said these 5 shows, each one is going to focus on one of the 5 albums. People are sitting there thinking like, but there's 4 albums. What? There's 4 albums. So the theory is and was
Number 5.
What? Number 5.
What?
The 5th concert's going to focus on you.
His name's album.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
just going to be Adam standing on
Oh.
stage.
Hey,
You did that. You
Smarten
did that.
up. Smarten up.
Okay. Yeah. So the fifth and final show, the theory is that they're going to come out like and just play a ton of new songs, and that's tonight. So we'll see. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and throw and let me give.
And this is your theory.
My theory is that's not going to happen.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen. It's among the fan base. It's not a super prominent theory, but it is there because Gerard Way went out vocally saying each one of these sets is going to focus heavily on one of the 5 albums. And people are like, there's only fucking 4 albums.
That would be so badass if they did that, though.
Right? So like
that would be really cool if
Yeah.
you, especially if you didn't know that buying your ticket either.
right? So people didn't know that about
Right.
these shows. So I was talking, I looked at each of the sets and they played basically 10 songs from each of from the album that they were working on. And they went in chronological. So they did first record and I was like, I'd be so fucking mad if I was there for that first show. Cause I was like, it's not a bad record, but it's like, that's not what I'm here for. I was like, I would fucking die to be there night 2. Night 2 would have been like, that's like my perfect album. I love their second record. Black Parade would have been amazing. And then I do really like that last record. But once again, like there's obviously the sweet spot of you want to be there on night 2 or night 3.
Yeah, I would pick night 3.
Yeah, most people would. But they played like 10 songs from the record each night. And I was
Wow.
like, that's so impressive, which is one of those things of like, damn, they really fucking learned every song.
And they probably have a practice room
Yeah.
backstage at every venue.
They played 3 nights in a row. And then they took a night off. Then they played a night, took another night off. And then tonight's the last night.
one.
So my theory, I don't think that they're going to do that. I think that maybe they'll play a couple new songs, but I don't think they're going to like come out and be like, here's 10 new songs. That'd be amazing. I think that would be fucking killer because even on top of that, even on that set that I was talking about, the first album, it's still a really well-rounded set list. Like they're still playing all their giant hits, but like they took out some of the lesser ones for that.
Can you imagine the restraint it would take to be in a band, have an entire new record ready and just ready to go and saving it until the last show?
Yeah.
Well, and just never saying
Never
anything
saying
about
anything
a fifth
about it,
album
yeah.
until like this weird single interview where
Yeah.
you
That's
just
like really
casually
exciting,
drop.
though. That's
Yeah.
that's like ultimate edging.
Speaking of which, yeah. So Blink-182 is back together. Speaking of that nostalgia ride, is anybody here like? I like Blink-182, but is anyone here like a Blink-182 fan, like a fan?
I had a period, definitely. And I this week was like, fuck, I want to listen to Enema of the State. And I listened to it again. And I was like, this album is great. So yeah, I'm a fan, but I'm not like an active fan.
Yeah, I'm really confused by the excitement about like the massive excitement. I'm really confused. I know people love Blink, but at this point, it feels like it's a meme.
I think. Yeah, I just like so my Blink-182, like I like all the songs and I own all of their records to a certain point. Let's say I own all of their Tom DeLonge records. And I love Matt
I was gonna say,
Skiba.
you have to be more specific than that. You could
Yeah.
own all of them at that point, except for the last one.
I love Matt Skiba. I like his band Alkaline Trio a lot. Like I think they're great. Love it. But like, yeah, the records they did with him, it's just like I'm like, not a fan. But yeah, I think my fandom comes from like I like the music, but even at a reasonable price, let's say like $45 a ticket, I would not go see them live.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm not like excited about this because there are a lot of people because I am in that fandom. Obviously, I paid a ton of money to see MCR. I had a similar thing recently with Muse that I was really excited about, like some of the music that they released recently that I was like, you know, and it's been a while. I was a huge fan for a while. I'm going to see them and paid way more money than I, you know, should have to go see them next year. But this is one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, people were texting me like, are you going to go? And I was like, no, absolutely not. Like,
It's like the cheapest ticket is like $165 or something like that.
not anymore. Like,
I don't care that much. at
getting
all.
into this like dynamic ticket price thing, it just like, have any of y'all been fucked by it?
No. But I've been trying to like just like every once in a while check the Blink price tickets because I'm just like, this is disgusting.
It is.
This is fucking disgusting. Like
MCR was the same way. Exact same way.
I think wasn't it yesterday the Pit was like I don't know, like $800 something dollars. Yeah.
800. There are a handful of shows where the pit has gotten up to like $1,500.
Yep.
And
I don't understand how anyone thinks that is a good sustainable idea to have that dynamic pricing and have that like not look like shit.
well, and
to
I would
everybody.
agree with you. I had this really long like text thread with a friend who like we keep getting screwed by dynamic pricing, and he was just saying like, yeah, we both had that sentiment of like, I just don't see how they keep doing it. But I just kept saying, you know, it's because they're still selling out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all mad,
Yeah.
but we're still buying the tickets.
I do understand that, but it looks like super greedy, especially on bands that are just coming back and like going on tour for the first time. And it's like, hey, we're back on
Yeah.
tour, and also we're gonna fuck you for all the money that we can take.
Wait, I don't think. Let's back up a little bit. Adam, can you describe what dynamic?
I'm not super familiar with it, but my assumption is that they're selling based on what people will pay, like kind of a bidding kind of style.
Right.
My understanding of it is, so you have, you know, if we're just speaking about North America or even the U.S. in general, you have the East Coast is an earlier time zone than the West Coast, and you go all the way from, let's say, if East Coast is hour 1. Once you get to Texas, which is in the middle, that's hour 2. And then once you get all the way to California, you're 4 hours ahead at that point. Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
So what they've done is those East Coast shows are set at that. Let's say a reasonable ticket for an arena show for Blink-182 is $100. I think that's acceptable. That's totally fine. That's a lot of money, but that's an acceptable arena show. You have to pay everybody there, blah, 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 blah. But what they do, they see, okay, Madison Square Garden sold out in 30 seconds. All right. Once we get to Texas, we need to up those prices up. And they just keep doing that in dynamic prices. And it just keeps going up and up.
Yeah.
And it just, by the time, I can only imagine what the West Coast prices are like.
So
like
is it
LA.
always east to west?
Yeah.
But
That-
because
and it's
it's
Live
10
Nation,
a.m.
right?
local time. So it's
That seems like such a
Ticketmaster.
weird
and-
Ticketmaster, yeah.
fucking way to do that, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
like,
so
oh,
stupid.
should we all move to New York City? Is that the answer here? You know, it's just
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
what a weird, arbitrary way to do that. I thought it was going to be like show by show. They release like, here's some tickets and see what people pay, and then they go,
Right.
hey, that's what people will
No,
pay.
because that would
What-
be way slimier. Because then it would be
well, that's
so
why I
obvious.
assumed they were doing it.
It would be so obvious that okay, Madison Square Garden and whatever the arena in Atlanta is, that's the same time zone. So wait a minute. Why are you?
I don't understand how time zone factors into this, but
Yeah, couldn't you just use a
because
VPN?
they all start at 10 a.m. local time.
Yeah.
So could you use a VPN?
To get a ticket to a show that you don't live near, yeah.
They don't even.
What's the VPN got to do with it?
Well, you
Well, you
change
can
your
even
location
change your
to like New
location, but-
York, but
No,
they
no,
don't
no, no.
release. You can't
No,
even
no.
buy tickets to the concert in Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
arena's
Oh.
local time.
that's
not your.
that's
That's
what's
fucking-
confusing to
That's
me.
like highway robbery.
It is. And so what the reasoning behind it is that they say this is an anti-scalping measure, that if they
Get
jack
fucked.
up
No, it can't
not
be.
anti-scalping.
It's a geographic
jack
thing.
up if they jack up the prices, it will keep scalpers from buying 10 tickets when they can't afford 10. But my friend John, he made the great point. If we've learned anything from the tech industry with all the shortages on parts for building PCs, for PlayStation 5s, Xboxes, that just goes to show scalpers don't give a fuck. They're going to keep buying them.
I also-
They're just going to jack up their prices more.
There's also a lot of scalpers that I bet are currently in the crypto bro market. And so therefore they probably just have a lot of whatever crypto money sitting around they can use to, you know, buy
Yeah.
and spend the ridiculous money.
Yeah.
So I think what happens, and so I know it's Ticketmaster. I think Live Nation too. But let's just stick with Ticketmaster because I know that to be true.
Isn't it the same company?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
there you go.
I'm pretty sure they're the same company.
But I'm just going to refer to Ticketmaster. They're the ones. They have a stranglehold on arenas in the U.S. I don't know about other countries, but in the U.S. they have a stranglehold of arenas. You want to play at American Airlines in Dallas, you have to go through Ticketmaster. You have to the band has to work with Ticketmaster. So I think Ticketmaster is getting away with this because every time I've seen this in MCR fan groups, I've seen this in Muse fan groups and Blink fan groups of everyone immediately turns to the band and says, I can't believe you guys would do this. And it's just like, well, okay, it is the band. The band has culpability here.
They've signed contracts. They've agreed to play at certain venues.
Yeah,
Well,
I do think that they share the blame, but that's how Ticketmaster gets away with this because they're like,
yeah, for sure.
You're
That's how
gonna take all
Ticketmaster always worked. Was they were doing that for the venues first, and being like, we can make you extra money by charging fees, and everybody will hate us, and they won't know it's you.
Yeah,
And then
right.
they got artists on board with that too. With I don't know,
but
taking
people
up
are
sale
hating
of,
the
like, merch and
artists.
stuff.
People are hating the artists.
I think it's good that it's-
Ticketmaster is like, we're fucking clean.
I think it's good it's backfiring on artists because it feels very greedy on the artist part. Because I know there are limitations they can't avoid a Ticketmaster venue. But if everybody just agrees to dynamic pricing, you're just screwing over like your most like enthusiastic fans who want to see you the most.
I would say like you can't, not give any any blame to the artist. Like you said, they have some, and we don't want to let Ticketmaster get off like totally free, but the change happens at the artist, not at Ticketmaster.
And that's where I land. I think the blame goes evenly around. I think Blink is just as guilty as any of them.
Yeah.
I think MCR is guilty of it. I think they're all guilty of it. And my thought process on this is, wouldn't it be great? Like, just imagine, and this is my example for biggest artists in the world every time, but imagine Beyonce just coming out and saying, no, fuck that. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
The most expensive ticket is this price, and it will not go above that no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that.
I think
Imagine
Pearl Jam
her
tried
saying,
to do something like that, right? They went up against Ticketmaster.
Yeah, but just imagine like Beyonce coming out and saying, I'm going to do this arena tour, and I'm not doing that. And then what Ticketmaster is going to say, well, then you can't play American Airlines Center. She's like, cool. I don't give a shit.
I'll
I'm
play
not
at the
playing
Bomb
in Dallas
Factory.
then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
build a place. I'll do it Olympic style. She'll
Yeah.
build her own venue just for the night.
Yeah.
Like,
She
I
could do
think,
that.
and it's not even, you don't have to go that level. Like, I think Muse could do it. I think any of these artists could do it.
I think Blink especially should do it, especially because did you see like, I mean, I'm sure you watched like the video they did with like all the working class people in the video, like a mailman and like a bartender, and it's like you're gonna include these people in your fucking video, and then your tickets are
They can't afford to go to your
$1,000. Are you fucking kidding me?
Most people are, when they see those ticket prices, they have the thought of, say it ain't so, I will not go.
Ah.
All right, thank
took
you
that
guys
from
for
a meme.
listening. We really appreciate it.
Did you guys see that this happened maybe a month or two ago? There was like a metal band that was playing like a mid-sized venue, and they were up on stage and they were saying like, hey, go buy merch, but don't buy alcohol or whatever. They said something, I'm butchering it, but basically the singer said, this venue made us sign a contract giving 20% of our merch sales away, and that is bullshit. And
I did see this. Okay.
This started this whole thing of talking about like, okay, like there are these small to mid-size acts who have to sign these contracts at every venue they're playing to give away their merch, like parts of their merch sales, because the venue says, okay, well, if you don't sign this, then you can't play here or you can't sell merch. And it's just like, well, if you can't sell merch, then you can't tour.
Exactly.
And I think this is a similar thing because whenever that metal band came out, I think they were some Australian band. Whenever they came out and said that, everyone at that level was saying, this is absolutely true. This is not just this one venue. I have brought this up to my management before, that, hey, I don't think it's fair that I have to sell whatever percentage or give whatever percentage of my merch sales.
Because the venue didn't help fund
No.
the acquisition of merchandise.
No, but the
Right.
venue gave you, their argument is they gave you a space to sell it.
Sure, but their share of the deal is their share of the bar.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
and
then they
ticket.
should just
And
charge
they have
it.
a
and ticket
ticket
prices,
percentage.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm totally like with what
You're
all
just
this
saying
is.
why
Like,
they're doing that.
Well, it's a kind of a shitty reason why they're leaning on though. It's not even like they're providing employees to do anything with the merch. They're not processing payments or anything.
No, you
like,
still have to bring your own everything for that.
If
Plus,
they were
like,
doing some of that stuff, it'd be like, all right, you got a point. Like,
and then and this goes all the way like down to the lowest level of a door deal. A door deal is in so many ways conceptually the same idea where like if you don't make this much money, then we're not going to pay you. And even once you make that much money, we're still going to take 10% off the top. It's like, whoa. But how do you want anyone to make money? And do you want anybody, like, do you not want us to succeed? This is exposure bucks. And then when you get to the next level where they start taking your merch away, plus that maybe they only give you 50% of ticket sales or less than that, and then maybe they give you percentage of bar, it's like, okay, I mean, there's a reason that a lot of people are saying that the touring industry is dying. I disagree with that. We talked about that before, but like, I do think that there's a reason that a lot of artists are like, this just doesn't work. This does not work.
So, and the reason why I brought that up is I think it's a similar situation to dynamic pricing where maybe there are acts that like apparently Taylor Swift has been noted to say of like, I want dynamic pricing. I want that. There's a lot of acts that have like gone on.
Bruce Springsteen.
I mean, it's easy to see why. There's tons and tons of money you're leaving on the table by not doing that.
Yeah. But like with
how's she gonna fly the jet so much, man?
Right. How's she gonna buy another jet?
For some artists, it might recoup some of the money they lost from streaming.
Yeah, maybe.
For some artists at that sweet spot.
I mean, I think if you're able to do dynamic pricing, you're set.
If you're playing arenas, then you're not. If you're in any sort of level,
that's where it comes down. Yeah. It's so frustrating because like there like the veil is so like pulled over like the public's head, and they try to like. They're leaving it up to us to generate. There's the people who are like, well, I don't want to talk bad about my favorite band. But then there's people who are like, no, like it's unfair what they're doing. And they're being really shady about it instead of coming out and saying like, hey, this is why we're doing this. And fuck it. They are playing arenas. Yeah. Like I'm not saying that they don't deserve money for their efforts, but they also need to recognize like you are at a place of power. Quit fucking us over.
It's definitely like a different working class position. It's like they are in, like you said, like the higher position. They have like they're of course I'm sure they, like you said, they're leaving money on the table. They could make more money always, but like you're just discouraging anyone wanting to. I mean, like if I was a Blink fan, no fucking way am I even trying to go to that show. There's no way.
Well, the thing that gets me is it's an arena though. There's a lot of seats and people who can fit in an arena, so it looks even more greedy than like if you were gonna
15,000.
Yeah, if you're gonna do dynamic pricing on a place that's like you're a big band and you're playing a little tiny bar of like 500, then all right, I get it then at least because it's like supply and demand makes more sense there. You're playing in a small place that's probably better. As an experience.
Yeah. And most of us have been to shows where it's like, okay, this band, like Sum 41 did this, where they're not a massive act, but they're an act that can play at like let's say a 1,500 capacity room.
Yeah, definitely.
Easy.
Yeah.
They did a tour where they played like these small rooms, like they played the Cambridge room at House of Blues, which is like, I don't know, that's like maybe 100, 150.
Yeah.
And they went out saying like, this is like, we're under, like we want to have an intimate experience, but tickets are going to be more expensive because we do need to recoup some of that cost.
Totally reasonable.
Because it's like, still the same show, more or less.
Yeah.
The diehards were like, yeah, absolutely, I'll pay for that. And like they came out from the bat saying it is going to be more expensive to do it this way, but like we think it's worth it to have this experience with the people who will come.
Yeah.
And they were honest, and like that's totally cool. It doesn't feel shisty. It's them being honest about it. And like this is if Blink would come out and just say, hey, like we don't think that we'll be able to like do a similar thing like this ever again in our career. So like this is our chance to really reap the rewards of 30 years in a band. That would be more like you're obviously going to get people who can't go and who are upset, but that's more digestible.
Yeah, it's slightly more acceptable because you're giving a solid reason for it, but at the same time, it's like it definitely is just saying I don't care about about a certain group of people, which is bullshit.
I can't think of a band I would pay over $160 to go see.
I mean, I could think of plenty of bands.
Yeah,
not in an arena though.
For me, there's a breaking point of like it's an arena. I don't want to go to those shows anyway. Personally.
Exactly.
I would pay that much to see the Foo Fighters again. I would pay that much. I would pay way more than that to see them.
Foo Fighters would be the exception for the arena thing.
There are exceptions, I would say, but at the point of like saying how much money like that you would spend on that, if dynamic pricing is a thing, by the time it gets to us, we're lucky if we see $160.
Yeah, it doesn't matter like what you want to pay. It matters.
I said that I can't think of a band, but I would both of those bands you just mentioned. I would fucking hand over fist.
I was thinking like Foo Fighters in the arena. I would go to that.
And I saw
Radiohead. I'm sure like that would be
I saw them in a fucking field that is not built for like like acoustically sounding great, and they sounded fucking amazing. Like you would do it. It's worth it. I'm not saying I'm saying if you had that reference you would.
Right.
But the only reason I brought up that merch item was because when bands started sticking up for that, apparently it has made a positive change that a lot of venues are now dropping that. And it's more of an option type thing and blah, 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 blah. So I'm really hoping
It's more of an option.
I wonder how they spin that option. Yeah, what's the trade-off they're offering there? Like,
Yeah.
we'll provide you some tables, and
I bet they. It could be like the providing thing. It could be something like that. But I bet they probably are just taking more money off the top.
They're going to get that
tickets.
percentage
Yeah.
one way or another.
But what I'm hoping is like for the people who say like, oh yeah, but Beyonce does what I proposed after her tour, that's just going to revert back. Well, I think that's a bit too pessimistic. I think it doesn't take much. I mean, Prince made really big shakeups in the music industry at his own expense of his career, but it had long lasting effects, I feel.
Yeah, I was in talking about Blink-182. One thing I found really funny was that I went to their subreddit.
All the dick jokes.
No, but somebody.
Fucking almost 50-year-old men making those stupid fucking jokes.
I love that they still do that. I think it's funny.
I hate it.
But
I hate it.
Mark Hoppus was posting on his Discord, I think.
Yep.
And he was talking about how like
He bought some tickets too.
Yeah, he bought some tickets to see how shitty it was, and he was like, "I'm really sorry that y'all are having to go through this."
Yeah, and then the Kardashians were saying they were going to be in the pit.
Yeah, but the funniest thing is that they told, they have known for a while that Tom was coming back,
Yeah.
and they told everybody like, "Hey, keep this fucking quiet." And apparently, Tom was like going to shows and being like, "I'm back in the band," and
Yeah.
totally not trying to be quiet about it at all.
Yeah, it was a very like known secret. Everybody knew about it. There was like a live thread in the subreddit for weeks saying like, is the announcement today? When do you guys think it'll be? Like somebody had leaked, somebody worked at one of the stadiums in the booking and basically leaked the whole tour like weeks ago. And whenever it came out, everyone cross-referenced it and they're like, it's fucking to a T. This person was right. And like the person like confirmed it to the mods of the subreddit and everyone's like, can you send us the confirmation too? And he goes, absolutely not. That will fuck me over if I do that. If I do that, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I wonder if when they get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, will Matt Skiba be on stage?
I think he put out
Did he say something?
Yeah, he put it out today saying basically like, I'm really proud of them. I'm really like thankful for my time. And like, you know, I'm really looking forward to y'all shows. Like he was super, and in the same fucking
Tom
post,
made a
he was like
statement.
at a skate park. He would like put a video of him skating.
I didn't read Tom's thing, but I was told about
I
it.
don't know why he posted
And
it.
yeah, what was it? Was it a screenshot of a notes where he was like, "Love you, bro. Thanks."
He's like, I actually still listen to your band. He genuinely said something. He's like, I've always been a fan of your band, and I actually still to this day listen to you guys.
God, what a dick.
But
what a weird thing to
it was
type
so
and
strange.
then also post.
He claimed that he sent he had already sent it to.
It wasn't notes. It was a screenshot of a
It was
DM,
notes.
right?
It was like,
I thought it was a screenshot of a DM that he sent to Matt Skiba.
No, I think it was like a notes. But like he said that he had sent it to Matt already, but he felt that the Blink fandom should see it as well. But it just felt like I was like, why? No, why are you posting this? It felt very I don't know, like masturbatory, I guess. Like I did a good thing. I gave money to a homeless person.
I did a good thing and I need credit.
Yeah, he was emotionally edging.
Yeah.
But it was so weird. And then like, I don't think there was bad blood. His like the synopsis of that note is basically him saying like, oh, I'm really thankful you kept the band alive whenever I wasn't there. But of course, you know, Mark's cancer really put things in perspective, and I'm super thankful for you for keeping this band alive.
Yeah, and Travis's plane crash, and yeah.
He's like that is your doing. This band is still alive because of you. So it's a nice note, but it's also like you didn't need to post that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think the whole thing is kind of cool that they're back together.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear the record. The single is mixed like garbage.
It
doesn't sound like a band.
It is a fine song.
Yeah, it's mediocre. Somebody said if you put it at 1.5 speed, it actually sounds like a Blink-182 song.
Yeah.
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I saw a lot of like pop punk bands on TikTok being like, we remixed this into a pop punk version, and like they all played it like faster. It's so funny.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So speaking of a band that got back together, we're going to talk about a band that is taking a brief little hiatus for a little bout of war.
my God.
The BTS members have officially joined the South Korean military for mandatory service and will be reconvening in 2025.
Mandatory
They are gonna
18
have
months.
Targets on their backs.
Yeah, no, they're gonna be fucking
Yeah,
fine.
they're
They're
gonna
either going to keep them really sheltered or they're going to get fucking shot.
Yeah,
They're going to be sheltered.
yeah, they're gonna be fine.
They're probably gonna not have like front of the line positions, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so like this has been a point of like talking about like, oh, is there service to South Korea like as being basically cultural ambassadors? Is that enough to say, hey, do they need to serve mandatory military service? And I'll say it again, nobody should have to serve mandatory military service.
Yeah.
So absolutely not, they shouldn't. But I do think that's a good point. The cultural ambassadors.
Wouldn't that be more like a national service kind of thing? Like if that was a thing, then they would definitely qualify.
Yeah.
This is just a weird like mandatory military service thing, which is not good. But
And
it's
they gave the oldest one a 2-year like break, they let them wait 2 years because it's you have to serve 18 months between the
Specific
Oh.
age.
It's I think 18 to 28 within that like range, and he's 29 now. So they gave him 2 years ago like a 2-year break. Like, hey, you
so
don't have
that
to do
they'll
this
all
yet.
do it at the same time.
Yeah, but then they all decided so they're all doing it at the same time. So then they can take that hiatus they had talked about, which everybody was we remember we talked about the hiatus that they're on.
yeah.
I feel like if the government's making that kind of concession and being like, we're going to give you a little break so you can guys all serve it together, it's like, you know this is a thing and you probably just shouldn't have them do it now, right? Like,
Yeah, that does seem strange, but also I mean like there's who knows. It's
But
like it's weird publicity. I guess.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine being an
it's-
average citizen there and seeing in the headlines that these filthy rich pop stars get to skate, like get off scot-free
Well,
because they're
right.
super famous?
That
and
would
you're
be
like,
bad too.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it could be that they made the choice because of that, like because of that thing of like, well, we want to go serve our country, or who knows.
Yeah, the whole thing's fucking crazy.
Are you guys familiar with how like most of these K-pop groups work, how they're formed and everything?
Like child labor.
No. Like not that at all.
Okay.
So
That's
it
how
sounds
the
like
American
Hagen's
boy
not.
bands were formed.
Sounds like Hagen's not. Sounds like maybe
I
Dave's
was going to say
not.
like designed by committee. Like,
So the way it works is there's these groups. I don't know any of the names of them because I'm not Korean, and so I can't remember a lot of the words.
It's all Simon Cowell.
No, Simon Cowell has nothing to do with it.
I know. I'm just being a dickhead.
Yeah, but so basically there are these groups. It's like saying Sony Music Group, and the way it works is it's known that okay, you will, if you want to be a K-pop star, if you want to be this kind of thing, you go to this, and it is like being it was put to me kind of thinking of it like a high school drill team. You can be in dance class, but to be on the drill team, you have to be in the dance class and you have to be part of these auditions. And if you do well on this audition, you get to be part of this show, but you're still going to have to audition. That's basically how it works. So if you show talent, you can be part of these groups. And then you'll spend years of training, that kind of thing, like a conservatory, which is too much for what it is. But you're put in these dorms, that kind of thing. And then you audition, and then like the cream of the crop rises to the top, that kind of thing. I spent a good while today looking at what these dorm rooms look like, because I was thinking they're calling them dorm rooms. Like in interviews, people will say, "What are you doing today?" to one of a K-pop member, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm just gonna hang out at the dorm." And I'm like, surely not. It's not a dorm. And I looked it up, and I'm thinking like it's gonna be just a fucking apartment, right? Absolutely not. It is a dorm room. You can look up what the BTS members used to live in. That like all of them lived in the same dorm room together. So there are groups that will be like these
Like bunk beds.
Yeah, it's bunk beds, and
Yeah.
it ranges from 9 to 15 members in a room. It's fucking insane. Obviously, they're in these really nice complexes where it's like they have video game rooms, they have like workout rooms. But it's very much one of those things where it's like, this is where you sleep. Everything else you do out here. But obviously their days are like super regimented. It's a fascinating system. But at the end of the day, they are choosing to be there.
But it's also taking advantage of them, like Disney kids and like all
Absolutely.
that. That's what I mean by child labor, because they're taking advantage of these like young kids. I'm not saying that they're conscripted into being this like you have to do this now. It's more like they are choosing it, and then someone is taking a lot of advantage on these like young people who are trying to just become pop stars. Which that is a lot to do, I guess. But it definitely it's. I always thought of it like making it in Disney, like you go through so much bullshit.
I mean, I don't know the age bracket for these companies, but most of the people I've seen that have gotten big in these K-pop groups that have actually become like K-pop idols, like most of them, it seems like they started when they were maybe 18 or 20, between that age group.
Oh, but they must have started younger than that with BTS.
Well, obviously they were doing other stuff. Younger,
okay,
I mean, like joining that actual group, the Sony music group. But at the end of the day, like me thinking of me when I was 18 or 20 doesn't mean I was making the most sound decision. That kind of stuff. Like, was I really thinking about my future of like, well, when I'm 30, do I want to have my day fully regimented out and I can't have a girlfriend? Do I want that? So like, there's definitely that argument to be made, but I thought it was fucking fascinating. So BTS, we salute you. We'll see you in 2025 for your reunion tour, where dynamic pricing is just absolutely run amok. Get Kim Jong-un for us.
Do you think they're going to let them take breaks to record a record?
No,
they're
absolutely
in there.
not.
They are in the military.
It's 18 to 21 months. Honestly, that's 18 to 21 months. That is going to generate so much hype for that brand.
It's going to be 18 months for them.
Yeah,
they're not going to serve 21.
Yeah,
and they're not gonna be at the fucking the DMZ.
It's not going to be like Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, they're not going to be right at that border, the DMZ with North Korea. They're gonna do their like military training, which I think I saw it was like 5 weeks of military training, and then they get assigned to their units. They're going to be on the most like lax unit of like, you get to hang out in the government building, and like
they're going to be like George W. Bush when his dad was like president still and he had to go in the military. It's like, we're going to make him do real stuff.
Choking on a peanut on a ranch.
I wonder if they're going to come out and be like, do you remember when Paris Hilton went to jail and she was like,
yes,
I came out a different person. It's like, you were in jail for like 8 days.
I mean,
it would be interesting if they came out and they were like very outspoken against this.
It also would be interesting for them to be like, oh, this was really nice to take a break from like.
Probably.
But also they're going from one regimented lifestyle to another.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, interesting stuff.
I hope at least one of them comes out and is like, I want freedom now. I want to do what I want to do.
I want freedom. Hagen, is there any hot goss?
No. I mean, unless you're talking about.
I'm asking you. This is not on my shoulders.
I don't have the articles pulled up.
Adam saw me skip it. Adam saw me
he had it pulled up. So,
yeah, but you said we had to talk about it.
I don't have to talk about shit.
I mean, Kanye is gonna buy Parler. There you go.
All right,
we did it. So Queen released an unearthed song featuring Freddie Mercury. Legitimately, they did. Did y'all listen to it?
It came out. We talked about the fact that they were about to release.
It's called "Face It Alone." It was from the 1989 "The Miracle." Was that their? That wasn't their last record, was it?
I thought the show must go on.
Fucking if I know.
That sounds right.
It's late enough in their career that like there's no bangers on it, so. Makes sense why we don't remember it. It's a fine song. It's not bad. It's just, I would imagine there's like a handful of these songs that are just like in various stages.
Yeah. An unreleased Queen song is probably like still a pretty good song, but I bet they have a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's like
the last
Prince
album
has how many unreleased songs?
Oh, he has like 30 records worth, right?
Yeah.
The last album was Made in Heaven.
Yeah.
A name that none of us remembered.
No.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, that's all I have. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
That's all you got. I love it. I love it. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. Feels good to be back. Feels much better than being sick.
I imagine. Do you want to do what you're listening to?
Mm.
Yeah, do we still do that here?
What do you think? You want to do that?
Mm.
You want to go outside?
Yeah. I want to go up.
You want to go up?
Yeah.
You want to go up? We can go up.
I listened to Return of the
Mac?
the Dream Canteen, the Chili Peppers record, the new one.
I'm just gonna watch this.
Was
I'm
that
putting
the
my hands.
album name?
Yeah.
This is they've released 2 records this year.
Okay, I was like, I listened to it and I don't remember that name anywhere. So I hadn't listened to that.
It just came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it also like, yeah, it's another album?
Anthony Kiedis or Cletus? Kiedis. Jackson's trying so hard not to say anything. He sounds better on this record than he did on the one that came out a month ago. Or whatever.
I mean, it's easy to do.
Yeah. No more weird singing. Fuck, I don't know. Somebody else go.
You got it. You got it.
Well, we got to hear what Jackson's going to say.
No,
he's not going to say
doing a
it.
great
He's
job.
not going to say it.
I've said enough this episode.
They're one of the best bands out right now.
So
I genuinely I bought that. I was like,
I'm trying to trigger you.
fucker. Yeah.
It took me a second. I was like, Dave might think.
No. I mean, their live footage is really energetic.
It always has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
It would be really interesting if they released something and then they played a live show and they just stood still
Just
on
kinda
stage.
stand around.
They just stared at their fucking instruments the whole time. So I have been listening to a couple things. But the one that I'm really stoked on is Lorna Shore's new album, Pain Remains.
Is it a full album?
Full album.
Cool.
It's incredible. And the last 3 songs is called Pain Remains 1, 2, and 3. And they were inspired by Between the Buried and Me by that. And I thought that was, I heard some stuff in there and I was like, that kind of sounds like a Biddy Bam riff. And then the guitar player actually did a breakdown of each song.
He did a breakdown in a metal song?
In a deathcore band, they did some breakdowns.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a really, really great album. I'm really, really into it. I usually don't like a lot of that style of music, but Lorna Shore is really good. They're changing a lot of that style to make it, I think, more accessible, especially to other metalheads who aren't into that style. The only issue I'll ever have with that style of music is the mixing. It's just so hard to hear things sometimes. But I do like, especially the way they mixed Will Ramos's voice on this, because they have to, because he's the best out there. So they have to mix it well. But
He's the reason they're so popular. Right now.
Yeah, because they went through a fuck ton of vocalists before him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really incredible. And then also I saw Man last night for the bajillionth time. I spoke to the lead, Honus, which I've never spoken to him before.
I think you missed half of his name.
Honus, sorry.
There you go.
He was at the merch table because the other guy left. So whenever I wanted to buy something, he was like,
oh, you mean the guy from the venue who's taking 10%?
No, it was the opener. The opener was doing the merch, but yeah. But yeah, so like I bought a shirt and then I talked to him and I was like, yeah,
The shirt you're wearing right now.
The shirt I'm wearing right now is a Man shirt.
Looks like it should be glow in the dark.
It looks like it should be.
It is not.
Unfortunately. I said, yeah, I've been seeing you guys since I was a freshman in high school, and he was like, when was that? I was like,
did he say that very when was that?
Yeah, it's exactly how.
No smile, no frills.
And then it was a little bit of a smile, teeny tiny bit.
Can't tell under the facial hair.
But I told him, yeah, it was like 2006, 2007 when you guys opened for Modest Mouse, and he remembered the venue. He remembered, like, of course he remembered the tour, right? But he was like, yeah, that venue sucked. That gig was dog shit, but thanks for being an old fan. And then we talked to him more about like the other shows we'd seen, and he was like kind of receptive, but also I can't tell if he's like a nervous person or just like kind of like doesn't want to talk to people. I've never spoken to him after being a fan of them for so long. We see them at small venues. I always see him walking around, and I just, he's like a mystical figure to me.
Only one way to find out. Get him on the show.
Fuck yeah. That'd be great.
Happy to do it. I think definitely within our reach.
But they played like, I would say almost half of the set, probably 40% was all new stuff, which was really weird for them. They normally like play the hits or play like, you know, whatever songs Honus likes. But they played a bunch of fucking new songs.
They have a song where like people get their keys out and jingle them, right? Butterbeans?
Butterbeans, yeah.
So I was told that today, and I was like, do people still have keys? Can you do that?
Yes, you fucking asshole.
No.
What does that mean?
That's not just me.
Everybody take their fucking phones out like this.
No, everybody I asked today was like, oh yeah, no, like I don't carry keys around with me. Like I have my car key fob, but like I have one of those doors like with the keypad on it. So like, yeah, I don't carry my keys.
Some of us live in old houses.
You can
You
put
can
a new
install it.
doorknob
I know
on
you
it.
can.
So does Hagen. But like, yeah, no. And so like, I was like, and I said, wow, that makes me sad. Like, and I've never been to one of their shows, but I was like, that kind of makes me sad, thinking like this kind of very unique experience might be gone just by the fact of technology.
That could be why it's the marimba player started to play that song last night, and then they went into another song that started with marimba, and so we were like, oh my god, that was like a crazy fake out.
Where's
Holy
my
shit!
keys?
But that might be why they didn't actually play the whole song. They just like played the intro and then went to the next song.
But like,
Maybe it's just been getting quieter every single year.
If I were in a band like that had something that was getting phased out by technology, I would create an app like from the band.
what the fuck?
That is the sound of keys jingling.
Yeah, but
And then sell it with dynamic pricing.
Yeah.
because then people were saying like, they were saying, yeah, but like you just expect people to carry lighters around. I was like, I mean, you have the light on your phone, so like that's not unique to a band.
Yeah.
That's like everybody does that for slow songs, whereas like this is a band I've never heard anybody doing that during a show. I was like, that makes me really sad, and I don't even really listen to this band. It made me very sad. Adam,
It's gonna be okay.
what are you listening to?
I listened to Nnamdi's new album, which
Yeah.
is not a surprise to at least half the table.
I listened to
a
it too.
surprising record.
It was a really good album.
Cornered
I think you said you liked it more than his previous album.
No,
right?
I said
Or
that
just as much?
I said that I probably said that, but I hadn't given it enough time just because I just was really busy, and like when it came out, I didn't have enough time to like really process it. After process, I'll let you finish actually.
I was gonna say I think it's
He
it's
asked you a question.
almost as good to me so far, at least, as his previous album before this.
Yeah.
Which I still think was probably one of the best albums of the year. Obviously, we picked it as our
Yeah.
podcast pick of the year, but
Some of our listeners haven't gotten to that episode yet.
they might get there soon.
I listened to it a bunch this weekend, and I felt that obviously it's a very different album. I think that I hear a lot of maturity in it, though. I hear like a fuck ton of maturity in the songwriting, and that was a weird thought to have for a Nnamdi album. I don't know why that was weird, but I
Do you follow him on social media? Because there's no maturity going on.
I know,
there
yeah,
at
I know.
all.
That's why I was like, this is a weird thought to have about this. But I there was something about like the production and the songwriting where I was like, this just feels like there's more age behind this, which I really like.
Yeah, I think that, and it feels like your point about production. It feels like there's a lot more like resources or money behind this, maybe. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that is the case. It probably is.
There was a lot more of like the hip hop thing too.
Yeah,
Which is still wonderful.
which totally worked.
Yeah.
I listened to like half of it and I was like, damn, this is really good, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
You got to get to the second half. Like it changes.
Are you joking or are you
no,
serious?
I'm serious
Okay.
because like the first half is
it
like
does change. Yeah.
almost entirely like the hip hop type Nnamdi, and then the last half becomes like what we saw at South by.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
It's so wild.
it was starting to get to that point. There was like a slower, more stripped down song.
Yeah.
And then but I remember thinking like, this does feel more focused, and the arranging feels more deliberate and coherent.
Yeah, it feels more intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just start at whatever song that was. There is that inflection point, and the rest of it is the more live band aspect.
I'll say also that single that he dropped, the first one, I Don't Want to Be Famous,
Uh-huh.
that song is like probably the most single song. Like the song of all of his music he's released, that song is the one that I can like as soon as it comes on, I'm like, of course this was the single off the album, and this also is like the most like single E song he's ever released. It's such like a
Brilliant.
yeah, it's great.
He did that on purpose.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it.
I've been listening to the 1975's most recent record that they just put out this last week called Being Funny in a Foreign Language. This is a band that I'm a latecomer to, but I think I've listened to it maybe 3 times all the way through, and it's definitely a different record for them. And I'm shocked at how good it is. Their last record was so indecisive on what it wanted to be. It starts out with like a punk song, and then it gets like there's this really like catchy electronic song, and then there's like almost a Prince style song. It's all over the place. There are great songs on the record, but it's not cohesive at all. This is much more, it's methodical. I saw that it was like just barely over 40 minutes. I was like, thank god, because the last one was like over an hour. Super impressed with like, and obviously it still has those like pop rock songs that the 1975 is known for. But I'm a super big fan of that part of the band song, which I listen to, and I don't know how you can write a song like that. If you have listened to that band before and thought, hey, that singer, like everybody's good in this, but why is he singing about that shit? Why is he singing about busting in his hand? Why is that a lyric on an acoustic song? It is like, it's still that. So that's my one thing where I'm like, come on, man, nobody's asking for that.
Yeah.
But I can see through that and just enjoy. But yeah, it's a great record. Really, like I did not expect to enjoy this one as much as I did. There's like there's a song called Wintering where it's just talking about being home for Christmas, and not in that kind of like the kind of like slow like halftime or whatever. It sounds like a Paul Simon song, just talking about like, I'm not here for the conversation. I'm just here for the stuffing. I'll be home on the 24th. And it's just like, oh shit, this is really good. I did not expect it.
What day is Christmas?
25th. But you go home on the 24th.
Oh, that's okay.
Most people like to be, there's a Christmas Eve dinner.
Christmas Eve is
I understand.
way
Okay.
more
I understand what you're saying now.
family fun than
Misunderstood what
Christmas
you
morning.
meant. I thought you meant like I'll go
12th month of the year.
I'll go home. I'll return
I thought
home
you were
on the
saying-
24th. That's
yeah.
why I was like, he's learning his months. Did he forget when Christmas was?
12th.
There's only so much room for different things, you know.
I do want to make an honorable mention. An album I've really been enjoying this week is Just Before Dark by Mike Viola, but it's not new. It's from 2005. And it's live, but it's really, really good.
Nice.
A live one.
We caught a live one.
Yeah. Tune in next week. I got a new guitar pedal. I'm gonna bring it and I'm gonna put my mic through it. This is gonna be fucking sick.
Cool. I'm really excited to have
Smash
to
my
deal with
fist
this.
through it. It's gonna be a shit show, but it's gonna sound dope.
Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching, all of you on YouTube. If you haven't already, please follow or subscribe, whatever podcast app you're using. Or if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That'd be super cool.
If you want to email us at thanks Adam for showing up this week at don'tfeedtheartist.com.
Or welcome back, Jackson at don'tfeedtheartist.com.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
If you're on social media, you can follow us at DFTA Pod on Instagram, or we're on Facebook. And if you like Facebook, I thought it was gonna make a big noise. I was totally ready for that. Yeah, there we go.
I've had a bendy straw this entire episode. It's a fucking twist. The straw that is.
Unless you were watching video.
It's a bend, not a twist.
Fuck you.
Could be a twisty straw.
Yeah, do you want a twisty
Make
straw?
it a twisty straw. Bend it up. Oh, twist it up. Fuck.
No, then I can't drink my soda.
Thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. Like Jackson said, you can email us. Please comment also. Please DM us on Instagram. Say hi, what's up? Give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you guys. It means the world.
We promise next week we're going to talk about Adam. We know that we kind of led you on last week. We're going to talk about Adam.
We're
next week.
gonna sit him down and give him the talk next week.
Yep.
Yeah, it has
He's
to happen sometime.
Gonna learn
About the feet and the hands.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
I don't care that you
Fuck, that's not it.